Emily sneered at me after I announced my resignation. I responded with a silent, steady gaze. Our conversation had revolved around the company's decision to cut labor costs, with particular disdain aimed at those supposedly exploiting overtime pay. Tom, too, seemed to relish the notion of trimming expenses. A week later, my phone rang incessantly with calls from the company. Upon answering, the president sharply inquired, "Who exactly are you?" I couldn't help but scoff mockingly at the question. I responded, "Lily Johnson, a 59-year-old employee with 37 years of dedicated service since my college graduation." I explained our company's role in providing administrative services, particularly for busy company presidents, handling clerical work and specializing in tax-related matters. I proudly managed 45 clients, a responsibility that had become overwhelming despite the assistance of a part-timer. Despite the challenges, I couldn't show any sign of weakness. Our clients had long-standing relationships with the company, and their adversities fueled my determination. Today, as I sat in front of my computer, the relentless harassment from Tom and Emily weighed heavily on my mind. Tom, 7 years my junior, and now the head of the tax department, had drastically changed his demeanor 3 months ago after his promotion. His once polite tone had been replaced by condescension and complaints, making every interaction a struggle. Even when I countered, he remained unfazed, instructing me to consult the manual and warning me against unnecessary actions. Emily, Tom's assistant, joined in the harassment, criticizing my efficiency and mocking my rank and file status. Neither of them knew that I was the first to decline a promotion to department head. I remained committed to completing my regular duties, but their harassment persisted. Tom accused me of increasing overtime and branded it a waste. Emily echoed his sentiment, sighing that my constant overtime was dragging down the tax department's performance. The recent cause of my overtime was a month's worth of client files that Tom had unexpectedly left on my desk, to be filed by the end of the month, after work hours. My face drained of color as I glanced at the files. "Wait, these all have deadlines this month," I uttered in confusion. Before I could grasp the situation fully, Tom was already packing up his desk, uninterested in addressing my concerns. "I'm heading out. Take care," he said casually, then swiftly left the office, leaving me buried in urgent tasks. Emily followed him, adding insult to injury with a mocking laugh. As I opened the client files scattered on my desk, I realized, to my dismay, that some of them were originally Emily's responsibility. The realization deepened my sigh. I now understood why Tom had been harassing me relentlessly. They wanted me to retire quickly. My extensive experience and deeper knowledge in taxation made me a preferred resource for others over Tom. His unapproachable demeanor and unattractive attitude made everyone except Emily avoid him. Emily's proximity to him seemed strategic, driven by Tom's preference for younger female employees. Their shallow thinking sent a chill down my spine. Emily's harassment was not just personal. She was trying to curry favor with Tom, who was evaluating the department's performance. Despite the challenges, I had to manage declarations while also preparing tax reports for my assigned companies. Claiming overtime would only invite more complaints from Tom and Emily. Resigned to the situation, I accepted the prospect of unpaid extra hours. Then, unexpectedly, I was summoned to the president's office. The company had recently undergone a leadership change due to the former president's sudden illness. The new president, his son, wasn't fully familiar with the internal workings of the company. As I entered the office, I saw Tom and Emily both wearing unpleasant smirks. In the tense atmosphere, the president dropped a bombshell. "Lily, we'll need you to resign by the end of the month." My mind spun. I asked for clarification. Tom and Emily had accused me of overbilling for overtime, citing that while others had around 15 hours, I had exceeded 80 hours. The president, oblivious to the true circumstances, seemed impressed by Tom and Emily's zero overtime. The reality was that the inflated overtime resulted from doing Tom and Emily's work. However, revealing that would risk making me seem incapable of time management. I presented the facts, asserting I hadn't overbilled for overtime, but was struggling to complete my workload in regular hours. The president sighed deeply, doubting me, but acknowledging the lack of evidence to investigate further. Nevertheless, he insisted that the company couldn't retain someone working at such a slow pace. Resigned to my fate, I agreed to leave at the end of the month, mentioning that I had already informed the president of my resignation earlier. As I glanced at Tom and Emily, their vulgar smiles reflected satisfaction. Emily taunted me with a sarcastic, "Thanks for quitting." Her sneer cut deep. I responded with a silent stare, facing similar disdain from Tom, who called me someone exploiting overtime pay. As they laughed together, I thought about the handover process. I created documents for all my clients and scheduled farewells with those I could meet. Unable to see the president again, I sent letters to inform clients of their new contact. A week after resigning, while enjoying some quiet time at home, my phone rang. The company was calling. Though I had completed all procedures, including social insurance, the persistent calls from both the company and Tom and Emily's personal mobiles made me answer. The president, urgently and in a panic, asked, "Who exactly are you?" Mockingly, I replied, "Just an unemployed lady who resigned from your company, nothing else." He pleaded for my immediate return, explaining that 49 calls had come in to stop transactions with the company. Reluctantly, I returned. Upon arrival, I found Tom and Emily, faces pale, dark circles under their eyes. Surprised by their appearance, I asked what was going on. Tom glared at me and revealed, "Since you left, we've been bombarded with calls to stop transactions, not just from your clients, but also from prospective ones we were planning to approach." "What did you do?" Emily echoed the suspicion, expressing disillusionment at the thought I had resorted to sabotage. I hadn't manipulated anyone, but I had a hunch. Clients valued my work and felt the company had lost what made it special. Tom accused me outright and dragged me to the president's office. The president greeted me with a direct look. Tom declared with authority, "President, I brought her." Ignoring their accusatory tone, the president asked about the halted transactions. I took a deep breath and explained, "Our clients don't need us to manage their taxes. They can go to cheaper accounting firms. They stayed because of me." Tom snapped, questioning my worth. Emily taunted me. Undeterred, I explained my unique, tailored approach to tax savings, strategies that resonated with clients. Tom dismissed it as inefficient, saying manuals were more practical. The president sighed deeply, then said, "Actually," he revealed a surprising call from his father, the former president. Some clients had approached him directly to advocate for me. I hadn't expected clients to go that far. The former president had emphasized that the tax department thrived because of my contributions. I didn't just manage my own clients, I supported others too. If I hadn't declined the promotion, I would have held a position higher than department head. The current president expressed regret. Emily looked shocked, realizing I could have been her superior. The president apologized and asked if I would consider returning. Tom interrupted, protesting the decision. Emily joined him, praising Tom's leadership and expressing disbelief at the preference for me. Then, the president dropped another bombshell. Since my resignation, multiple complaints had come in from staff, revealing that Tom had been shifting his workload and Emily's onto others. He had even accused me of being a salary thief. Their faces turned pale. The president continued, revealing an alleged affair between Tom and Emily. Tom denied it, claiming he was just mentoring her, but receipts from the accounting department showed otherwise. Confronted with evidence, Tom began sweating profusely. Emily turned ghostly pale as the president accused them of inflating expense claims and violating company policy by having an affair, while Tom was married. Calmly, the president declared their termination effective immediately. Tom and Emily resisted, pleading for their jobs. "I have a family," Tom cried. Emily, too, begged, saying she'd apologize to everyone. I offered advice. "Why don't you stop resisting? It's undignified." Tom glared at me. "Shut up! What would a single person like you understand?" I sighed. "You were the one who got me fired. It's just karma. What goes around comes around." Frustrated, Tom looked away. Emily bit her lip. Knowing more about their misconduct, I asked the president with a smile, "Should I share everything I know?" Tom and Emily frantically tried to stop me. I warned them. Wrongdoings eventually come to light. Face reality before it worsens. At my words, they collapsed to their knees. The president confirmed their termination on the spot. Later, I disclosed more. Tom had faked business trips to spend time with Emily. They had driven employees to resign through harassment and unreasonable deadlines. I had tried to help those employees. But Tom and Emily's tactics were relentless. The president, furious, decided to cut their final salary and investigate further. Tom, in tears, pleaded not to cut his pay, fearing the impact on his family. As the truth unraveled, Tom's affair led to his divorce. Both he and Emily were sued for compensation in the proceedings. Tom reached out to me, seeking help persuading the president to reverse his decision. But it was too late. The tax industry is small, and word of their misdeeds spread. No one would hire them. They were forced to do day labor on construction sites, far from their previous desk jobs. Emily would call me in tears, saying, "Lily, please help. I never truly liked Tom. I just wanted a better life." But I couldn't ignore the fact that their downfall was their own doing. "You can't unring a bell," I told her. "These are the consequences of your choices." As for me, I chose not to return, despite the president's pleas. Once told to resign, I had no desire to go back. Instead, I found peace assisting at a friend's tax office, enjoying a relaxed lifestyle. Someday, I might open my own office, free of corporate constraints, where I can serve clients with dignity and on equal footing. This was the beginning of my second life, and I looked forward to the journey ahead.